And welcome to Ark News tonight. There's another Community Crunch 284, dedicated storage change, Evo event, and more. Okay, this was put out, looks like 23 minutes ago, at least on there. This week, initially, the PS, we rolled out a refactored version of the dedicated storage structure. Our impetus for doing so was optimization, performance, and improvement for the dedicated service. Basically, they're saying with the way the dedicated storage are running, it was causing a lot of lag and a lot of memory usage on the servers. Previously, dedicated storage used to hold up to 1,800 stacks of a single item. On a typical populated server, there are usually thousands of dedicated storage boxes across an entire save. Many of them are filled with stacks. On some of our most populated official servers, we save files over 65,000 dedicated storages. Many of them full. These are the PvE servers. As you can imagine, there is a lot of items, like a lot, which is a hell of a way to put that. How does this impact our servers? Well, in the worst case scenario, taking a server with 65,000 dedicated storages, let's assume 70% of these are full. That means we're talking about 89,900,000 stacks just from dedicated storage boxes alone. These all contribute to how well the server runs in terms of frame rate, as well as memory cost. Each stack costs a little of both. So when you got them all compounded up and got a bunch together, yeah, you're causing a lot of memory and usage and so on. So a rework was necessary, and the result had proven to be great. It isn't a magic bullet, because Lord forbid Wildcard couldn't get a magic bullet, because it probably wouldn't load in the gun that glitches anyway. You won't suddenly see servers drop half their memory cost or double in performance. Go figure. But we are seeing significant gains across the network on all maps. So some savings are as high as 10 gigabytes of memory usage, which is actually pretty phenomenal. Additionally, this change slows down the growth of memory usage on servers, as previously it would exponentially increase with additional dedicated storage boxes. So here's how the reworks is, according to them, under the hood. The idea of having multiple stacks is no longer the case when using dedicated storages. When you're using your UI, you won't see the items in your right hand anymore. It won't display the item on the slot count when looking at the structure. Instead, the dedicated storage box will now contain a single item. When you deposit items into it, you can adjust the quality of said item. So instead of having 1,800 stacks, you have one giant stack, if you will. Don't panic. According to them, if they say don't panic, that usually means panic. If you don't see the items in the right hand side, it is intentional. The items are still inside the dedicated storage, and it works differently. The good news is that you'll be able to withdraw one regular stack of items at a time, should you need to, as the game can calculate what number that would be. As we remove the items from the storage, you can no longer interface with the remote inventory on the right hand side. This means you can't split stacked items inside of it. You can't drop items from it, etc. Which means you're not going to be able to popcorn it, which I think it says down here. The team is working to mitigate some of the changes. One thing they've done and implemented is a transfer all function, dedicated storage to ignore your weight. Previously, players could popcorn items from dedicated storage. When it does hit console, if it has hit console already, people who are running Meadow and all that stuff ain't going to like this, but you won't be able to popcorn and pick them up with the whip. Unfortunately, it won't work. This is why we've made this quality of life change. We are currently working on some additional quality changes, which will enable players to pull out 1, 5, or 10 items at a time. If the entire stack is not needed, you can press and click these buttons multiple times to get your desired quality, which we already did that to begin with. So they're still monitoring the community feedback, as we know it'll be impactful and necessary change to increase performance for their dedicated server performance. We also want to make sure that the structure still feels pretty good to use and how important it is as a base item, which it is. We'll do our best to take the community feedback and see whether it can act upon. Translation. They will look at your feedback if you're lucky, and they're not going to do shit to act upon anything. We're also working on getting all the changes moved over to console. That's great, as soon as possible, because then they'll screw that up too. It includes the quantity display in different locations on fixing and improving the PlayStation version of the dedicated storage box, so that you'll be able to see the quantity of the items in itself similar to other platforms. And the only other thing to report this weekend is they do have an Evo event. Unlike the last 2 weeks where we got the breeding event, which is fine. They didn't do it this time. They gave us 3 times taming, harvesting, and experience. So basically, I think they're going ahead and mitigated putting the 3 times of everything in, except for the breeding net, to cover the fact that they're probably going to fuck this other update up. So, as I say every other time, y'all have a great day and happy arking and enjoy your weekend, folks.